We're going to tackle, we're live by the way, I'm going to tackle Luke 6:30 through 34. All right, here we go. Give to everyone who asks of you, and whoever takes away what is yours, do not demand it back. Treat people the same way you want them to treat you. If you love those who love you, what credit is that to you? For even sinners, what's up, buddy? Come on in. Even sinners love those who love them. And if you do good to those who do good to you, what credit is that to you? For even sinners do the same. And if you lend to those whom you expect to receive, what credit is that to you? Even sinners lend to sinners in order to receive back the same amount. So let's go ahead and pray. Father, thank you for your word as always. Father, I ask a special request tonight that we are able to be empowered and that we are able, by your Spirit, to receive these words in a unique way. These are challenging, as last week's words from your lips were, Lord Jesus, but I ask that you give us the strength to understand that we need to go through some changes for us to be able to love the people as Luke 6:31 says, that we are to love those who do not love us, and that we are to do unto others as we would have them do to us. And Lord, I ask that you empower us to obey that golden rule and make it a severe and serious goal of our life, that we would be honest about what it is that we want to do and how we should do this for your kingdom and for your glory and for the good of those around us. Lord, I ask that you guide my words and that they would be beneficial to the people in this room and the people who will watch later on or are watching with us now. Thank you for your word. Thank you for these students. May you bless them each individually, uniquely, for coming and making your word a priority. Lord, thank you for them. I love them. I know you love them infinitely more. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Well, so we are, as I said a second ago, what's up, brother? We are tackling the golden rule tonight. So I said it in the prayer. Can somebody kind of rattle that off for me? Golden rule, however you learned it, or if you did learn it. Anybody? Evelyn?
Doing to others as you do to them.
Yeah, good old King James, right? Do unto others as you would have them do unto you, or do to you, right? Or a common vernacular, we say things like, do to other people what you want them to do to you. Okay? And I think hopefully by the end of this, you'll see the more we look at this, the more we go, wow, that's a challenge. So verse 31 is going to be the focus of tonight, but verse 30 is going to be where we start. But before we do, I know we've got a lot of people who are gone this week who are here, and we've got people who are here that weren't here last week and all that. So let me address, there are recap real quick. There are 4 kinds of loves in the Bible. You guys who were here, remember that? There are 4 kinds of loves in the Bible. Bonus points to anybody who can tell me what those names are. Wrote them down, you remember them, any of them at all? Okay? Okay. Do we remember the Greek words for any of these? So the romantic one is eros. That's what he's talking about. Like erotica or erotic. Okay? Yes, ma'am.
I don't know how to pronounce it, but
Go for it. Yeah, agape. Yeah, no. You get credit for that. Good job. Agape, right? So agape is the love we're going to be talking about tonight. It's the love that God has for us, and then we then turn around and have for each other and for him, of course. So any others? There are 2 more. Ty? Phileo, right? Fantastic one. Great job. Phileo is the love that believers have for one another, right? It's where we get Philadelphia. I told you that last week, the city of brotherly love. That's where that word comes from. So that's that 3rd level. There's one more, and it's the one that always gets forgotten. Storge, which is the love that a parent has for their child. It's a very tender, compassionate, caring love for somebody that is dependent on you, right? So I wanted to remind everyone tonight before we get fully into this, and I wanted to remind everybody who was not here, agape is the word we're talking about. We're not talking about any other kind, okay? So every time we see love or we're discussing love, we're talking about not parent love, not friendship love, not erotic, romantic love. We're talking about the love that God has for us. Okay? Just remember that. So, give to everyone who asks of you, and whoever takes away what is yours, do not demand it back. So Jesus had just talked about cloaks and tunics in, I believe, verse 29. He said, if someone asks you for your cloak, do not withhold them your tunic also, right? And I made a bunch of jokes and kind of laughed about the fact that a tunic is your outer garment, and or your tunic is your inner garment, and your cloak is your outer garment. In other words, take the shirt off your back and then take your undergarments if that's what it takes, and let them have it. Okay, I don't know why they want that, but let them have it. So, this verse, verse 30, can be translated, give to everyone who asks of you, and anyone who takes away earthly goods, do not require or ask for it back. Okay? Remember, all of this is in the context of how we love other people. All right? So, the two issues in this verse, you may want to write this down for you guys who are taking notes in any way you're doing that. The two issues here are trust that God will take care of us, and what we mean by take care of us. Okay? So two issues are trust, God will take care of us, and what do we mean by take care of us? Okay? Because we know very clearly that people mean different things by that, right? Like if somebody gets mad at you and you say, you just wait, I'm going to take care of you. That's not a, I'm going to take care of all your needs. That's a, I'm going to take care of you. I'm fixing to handle you. We're going to have a problem. You just wait, I'm going to get you back. Right? That's a threat. But when we're talking about God providing for our needs, taking care of us, what we're really discussing is the fact that God is going to take care of everything that He promised to take care of. So we must believe that God is going to take care of us. We must believe that. And I know that's a struggle. How many of you guys have trouble with that from time to time? In your head, you know that the Bible says God is going to provide all our needs. We know Matthew 6, where Jesus said, don't worry about your life. Don't worry about what you're going to eat or drink or what you're going to wear. We've talked about that in here before. But we still, in tense moments, we go back into that feeling that, oh, are you sure? Is He going to come through? Is He going to do what He said? Like, I'm waiting. Where are you, Lord? How many of y'all have those moments? I definitely have those moments where I go, and we can say what we want. We can make excuses, but ultimately that's faith, right? It's an issue of faith that we struggle with. Yes? Anybody in here? Besides me. Okay, thank you. Now, so when we say that God is going to take care of us, we mean that God is going to provide for exactly what He claimed He was going to provide for us. So if the world sees us fight constantly for what we think we're owed, or if we're greedy, or Avi, we were talking about being gluttons earlier, right? If the world sees us as being greedy, let me pause there. What is greed? How would you define it? It doesn't have to be formal. You can just
wanting more when you already have some.
Great example. So selfish and wanting more. Here, let me tweak it just a little bit, Evan. Wanting more when you already have enough, right? Like when you've got what you need, but you still want more. This is how you end up looking like me. Is when you have enough, but you continually go back. Okay, last night. So last night we were having a 4th of July party at Keaton's mom and dad's, and we had burgers and hot dogs and cobbler and all kind of stuff, right? Cookies and and chips and the whole right? Beans, and you best believe that I had at least one helping of everything I just listed. Okay, and then I sat there because my brother and I, we were actually sitting there talking after we had eaten. We were like, man, this is good. You want to go to Taco Bell later? And he was like, yeah, I'm hungry. And I'm like, I know, I just ate 2 plates worth of food and I'm starving still. Because we've been swimming and, that hunger from swimming hits different, right? So, but still, it's also greed, it's gluttony, right? I have enough, I'm not starving. No one looks at me and goes, oh, that poor baby, someone give him a sandwich, right? Nobody thinks that when they look at me. Everyone looks at me and goes, that's a healthy, strapping young lad. Now, if I continually want more, it's a sin, right? Greed is a sin. Gluttony is a sin. Y'all with me over there? Greed and gluttony are sins, right? Because it's believing that you need more than what God has provided you. Yes or no? Does that make sense? But it's not just food, right? We can do that with anything. I need more Netflix than what I got. I need more friends than what I got. I need more money than what I got. I need better parents than what I got. I need X, Y, Z. To be content, to be happy, to be satisfied with my life, I need more than what I already have. And if the world sees us running around saying, no, you can't have that from me because I need it. I have to have it to be content and satisfied. They're never going to see Jesus as glorious because they're going to see us putting our trust in things rather than Him. Right? Are y'all with me? If I'm speaking a different language, let me know. If I'm not making sense, stop me. But I think this is pretty fundamental stuff. What does greed and need to keep things show to them except that you probably truly worship yourself? This is one of the things we're going to talk about tonight. It's really going to be the main thing we kind of hit on. And so, buckle up here. This is the hang-up of other religions. Other religions tell you that you can't give other people more of what you have because you need it. It's stockpiling things. Christianity is all about giving away what God has given you. Whether that's your love, whether that's your time, whether that's your money, whether that's your service to other people. Christianity is all about what you give, not what you take. Right? So, I did some research because we're going to talk about love again tonight. I did some research. I've just found 3 or 4 things here that are interesting. In 2013, a survey found that 88% of Americans listed love as the reason they got married. No shock there, probably. My question is, what about the other 12%? What were the other 12% of people listing? You know, like they've been abducted by aliens, so have I. Like, that's cool, let's get married. What they like cheeseburgers, I like cheeseburgers. What was the reason besides love that they got married? This one is interesting, and y'all should probably be listening very carefully to this. You can fall in love, like chemically, in your brain in as little as 4 minutes. Spending time with somebody, particularly, of course, that you find attractive, 4 minutes of interaction and conversation with them. This one I want you to write down. You ready? Being in love changes us. It changes our personality, affections, desires, and perspectives. Period. Being in love changes us. Our personality, our affections, our desires, and our perspectives. Now, from here on out, I don't foresee myself cracking a joke, so let's be locked in, focused, and serious. How many of you, no, I better not ask that out loud. Think of this in your mind. How many of you guys, don't raise your hand, have been what you consider in love before? Somebody that you were enthralled or obsessed with, or whatever term you would like to use, whether that's positive or negative, that you were emotionally connected or attached to somebody in a romantic way that ended in your extreme emotional and mental pain. Or maybe you're in love with somebody now. Maybe that's the case. I want to talk about what happens in our brains and our souls, and I want to apply that to Christ tonight. Okay? Being in love makes you brave. Studies have found that the amygdala, which is a part of your brain, gets deactivated when someone is in love, and the amygdala controls and regulates fear. So that part of your brain that controls fear gets shut off when somebody's in love, and it tends to make them more brave than they otherwise would be. Anybody ever experienced that before? Let me put it this way. Guys, have y'all ever, doesn't have to be in love necessarily, but you've really cared for and been interested in a young lady, and to impress her, or whatever the reason is, if she was in danger, you might do something to try to protect her that you wouldn't just do for any old person. Or vice versa. It doesn't have to be, that can be for both, male and female, whatever. My point is, it makes you brave. It makes you do things that you wouldn't otherwise do. Now, I want you to think about this for a second. Is it true? Now, you don't think necessarily in love. It can just be truly agape love of someone else. The God-centered, God-based love that we're called to. When you does everybody in here at least have one person that's not themselves that they really, truly believe you love? Would anybody in here say, and honestly, again, not joking, would anybody in here honestly say you don't have one person in your life that you really, truly love for their own sake? And again, I'm not talking about romantic. I'm just saying like you really love that person. We all have one person, right? At least one. Seriously, does anybody in here not have one person? Okay, that was going to be said. So, one person that you don't love on the basis of what they can do for you, but you love them in a way for what you can do for them. So, when you have that type of love and that relationship with anybody, it changes your behavior. It makes you brave. It changes your patterns. It changes your perspectives. How many of you guys have been, you can answer this out loud, you can put your hand up. How many of you guys have been in a romantic relationship, no matter how short or how long, and when it ended, you look back and you're like, man, I've really changed a lot, like during the course of that relationship. And how many of you guys, let's be honest, let's be brave, how many of you guys look back and said, I don't like who I've become during this relationship? Looking back, I don't like what changed about me. But the point is not necessarily that it was a bad change, because it could have been a good change too. But the point is this, you changed, right? You changed, right? Something about you, something small, something big, you changed. Are y'all with me? I don't think all of y'all are with me. Something about you changed, yes? Sometimes you can see it during the relationship, and sometimes, a lot of times, you have to wait till it's over. Right? And you go, man, I don't like how that's made me a worse friend, or how this relationship has made me switch my priorities up, and how I've drifted away from the Lord maybe, or, I mean, many, many things, right? But y'all know, by your hands, y'all all obviously know what I'm talking about. So I'm going to say something that's really scandalous, and I know I say that a lot, but I'm going to say something that I need you to really focus on tonight. You're going to, just give me a chance to flesh this out. You're going to probably hear this in a second and go, whatever marbles he had left, he totally lost them since I saw him last week. But let me try, okay? I want to talk about addiction. The more I looked at this morning when I was writing, the more I think that's the best way to talk about this. I want to say before we start that I know that there are people in this room who have either potentially, I'm not going to say that you haven't suffered, or maybe currently suffer from some various form of addiction. And I know that definitely a lot of you have family members who suffer from addiction. And some of them are very serious, and some of them have cost them their life. And I don't want to take that lightly, and I don't take that lightly. And I want you to understand that. I want you to hear, you don't need to hear my heart, you need to hear the word. But I want you to hear that I'm not trying to play word games, and I'm not trying to be funny when I say this. Okay? I know that. I know addiction is a very real problem in our society of many sorts. It can be addiction to your Xbox. It can be addiction to pornography. It can be addiction to drugs, alcohol, anything. Anything really can be an addiction. Depends on the person, right? Good so far? So a few things here. The love of God must be our addiction to break self-love. I would write that down. The love of God must be our addiction to break self-love. The love of God must be our addiction to break self-love. The love of God must be our addiction to break self-love. Or else we will never love anyone rightly. Or else we will never love anyone rightly. Now, some of y'all think that you could potentially think that it's blasphemy, or that I'm talking absolute nonsense. But hear me out. Taylor, you're literally going to sit up here and tell me that I should have an addiction to the love of God. You're going to actually use that word. Yes, I am. And here's why. Quite a few reasons. So I went to a mental health website and I was doing research about this today. And I found 5 things that characterize addiction. There are others, I'm sure, but 5 things characterize addiction. Okay? Number 1, tolerance. Tolerance means you build up a tolerance and you need more. You always want more. Someone who's addicted is someone who wants more of what they're already getting. Does that make sense? Someone who's addicted to something wants more of what they're already getting. My brother, he has an addiction to Dr. Pepper. He drinks them nonstop. Now, my brother works, you saw him. My brother works outside. He works in a shop. He works with his hands. He works really hard. He sweats a lot. He, I guess it was 2 weeks ago, got dehydrated because he wasn't drinking water and had a kidney stone and got sent to the ER. The main reason is because he wasn't drinking water and he was continually drinking Dr. Peppers. Right? So if that's any of y'all, some of y'all looking a little nervous, if that's y'all, then maybe lay back, lay off the whatever. Now, let's be serious again. Not trying to be funny. Pull it back together. So, cigarettes. Anybody know anybody addicted to cigarettes? We all do, probably. Have you noticed number 2, which is withdrawal? Somebody who's addicted has withdrawal, which is negative reaction when something they're addicted to stops. Negative reaction when something they're addicted to stops. Now, I myself have seen plenty of people go through withdrawals when I worked at the hospital. And it's ugly. Very ugly. Anybody seen that in their personal life with family or friends? A few of y'all. It's not pretty. In fact, you can die from withdrawals. You can actually physically die from withdrawals. If you're addicted to something, and here's what I want you to remember. If you're addicted to something, you think you need it to live. And quite literally, your body does need it to live. So tolerance, number 1. Number 2, withdrawal. Number 3 is denial. We all know this with addicts. They say they can quit whenever they want, right? They say that all the time. And I can quit whenever I want. I'm in control. I'm in charge. I'm not addicted. I just like it. I just like it a lot. I'm not addicted. Everybody can see they are, but they deny it. Yes? Number 3, loss of willpower. People find it impossible to say no to their addiction. They try and they try and they try and they relapse and they relapse and they go back into it and they do it again and then they stop for a week, they stop for a month, they stop for 6 months, but then they go back to it. They try and they try and they try and they try and then one day they just crack and they give up and they go right back to it. It's really truly a horrible thing. If you haven't figured this out and you don't know it from personal experience, good for you, but I'm telling you it's an awful, awful thing. Tolerance, withdrawal, denial, loss of willpower, and the last one is preoccupation, and we all know this. It means they're focused on, thinking about, or engaging in their addiction all the time. Most of the time when they're not doing it, they're thinking about doing it. Right? Do y'all know anybody like, not family, do you know any friends like this? People that would be your peers, that they have an addiction to something you may know about, you may know a little bit, you may know a lot about it, and they can't stop. Let me just address the elephant in the room, because I had to over and over and over this year. The one that I can't act like this doesn't go on. Vaping is a big deal. That's where it hits you sort of at your level more often than a lot of other addictions. Vape pens everywhere, of many kinds. They're in our schools. They're in all of your schools. If you don't know about it, good for you. That doesn't mean they're not there. They are there. And this is the conversation I've had with students over and over this year as we collect and win things is, look, you may say you're not addicted, but oftentimes you are. Cocaine, great example. Now, supposedly today, they found cocaine in the West Wing of the White House. I don't know if y'all saw that. They claim they found cocaine inside of the White House today. So that's a developing story, so go look that up. No, not now. Stay focused on the Word of God. Do that later. So here's the thing. With cocaine, and if you've ever seen a real crackhead, with cocaine, oftentimes it takes one usage to be addicted. And here's the roll of the dice. You do it once, you become addicted, or you die. It's kind of a 50-50 gamble there. You just hope that you get addicted so that you live to not be addicted one day, because oftentimes with heavy drugs like cocaine, meth, things like that, get a bad batch, or you get it laced with fentanyl and all the stuff going around now, that's the last hit you're ever going to have. So I've seen that myself too many times also. So my point is this. Addiction oftentimes is bad. But what about when addiction is good? What about when addiction is directed towards the Lord? I think that's the only way that we're going to love the Lord and by proxy love other people. So let me walk you through what we call replacement addictions. Y'all ever heard of those before? Replacement addictions. So people addicted to cigarettes, when they want to stop, a lot of times they'll do the patch, right? They'll put a patch on their arm, or they'll chew a cigarette and not light it, or they'll put nicotine gum in their mouth because it gives them the nicotine, but they're not smoking because it's bad for you and all that, right? People addicted to sex take up exercise, or for some reason chocolate, because one of the things, and I'm not trying to be funny, one of the things with oxytocin and dopamine in the brain, it's released by chocolate in the way that it is with sex. And so a lot of people will say, well, I'm just going to, if I have like an addiction to sex, I'm just going to go like try to break it by eating a bunch of chocolate and trying to distract myself with that feeling in my brain, the dopamine, oxytocin, things like that, right? People who are addicted to alcohol may take pills instead. They may find a prescription drug usage to engage in rather than alcohol, and oftentimes they end up mixing both of them, which is fatal very oftentimes. Those are examples of what we call replacement addictions. Now, here's what I want you to write. I want you to write that down. Replacement addictions. Replacement addictions. We'll just give a very simple definition here. Replacing an old addiction with a new, better one. Replacing an old addiction with a new, better one. Replacing an old addiction with a new, better one. Now, I wrote 5 things down on how the love of God changes us so that we can then love other people, like we're being called to in verse 31. So, number 1, these are how loving God changes us, or how the love of God changes us. Okay? Number 1, and this is a general rule, we become like what we spend the most time treasuring. We become what we spend the most time treasuring, or beholding, adoring, worshiping. We become like that thing. If that is, and I'm not trying to be funny, if that is drugs, then you turn into a walking pill, or a walking substance, or an alcoholic bottle. That's what you become. If that is sex, then we know what happens there. We chase that all the time, and that's your whole life. If that is success, I mean, there are tons of them that we think are good, but if you make an idol out of anything, it's a false god, right? And you worship something that's not God, that's idolatry. That's worshiping a false god, yes? Okay, so number 2, the love of God changes us. We begin to hate what separates us or distracts us from God. Number 2, we begin to hate what separates or distracts us from God. By the way, when you look back on this, and I hope you are taking notes, when you look back on this tonight, or if you keep this paper in the future, these are 5 good rules that you can kind of look back on and go, am I changing? Am I becoming more like Christ? Am I dropping off those sin habits in my life? And am I following and obeying Him more? You can kind of use these as a test. Okay? Number 3, we become less addicted to sin. We become less addicted to sin. We'll just stop there. We become less addicted to sin. That's number 3. Number 4, we begin to want what is best for people. We begin to want what is best for other people. And let me ask you, what is best for other people? Like, what's the greatest good for other people? If I said, Cooper, if I said all your names individually, and I said one-on-one, your enemy, someone that hates you or that you hate, and we talked about that last week. If I said pray for the greatest thing you can think of for them, what would it be? What do you think the greatest thing for anyone would be? That they would come to know Christ, right? That they would be saved from their sin, from death, from hell, eternity apart from God. Right? So what's best for other people is Christ. You begin to want that for other people. And lastly, number 5, we begin to be brave because we already have what we need in Christ. We become brave because His love means we have everything we need. Now we can go chase after what's good for other people. You follow me? I wrote this quote down. It's pretty short. You might like it. It's by Tim Keller. Every person is worshiping something to get their worth. Every person is worshiping something to get their worth. By the way, the word, Ivy, the word worship comes from the 2 words worth-ship. Worth-ship, which means you're giving something worth. So when you worship, and I know we think of that as music, but it's not just singing and music. When you worship God, you're telling Him that He is worthy. You're giving Him worth, value. Okay? All right. Number 1. I wrote a list, 10 things again. Number 1. All addictions are idols meant to glorify and please us. You might want to write that. Apart from Christ, all addictions are idols meant to glorify and please us. Some of y'all are going to have some battles with some of these things in the very near future that are going to get a hold of you in a way that you never thought they could. You think, I'm immune to that, I'm good, that's not going to tempt me and lead me off into temptation and grab me and hold me. I know you want me to repeat myself. Hold on a second. So there are going to come those moments, and I hope you have some of this ammo to fire at those demons, so to say, to use the metaphor. I hope you have some of these facts to help you fight. So here's the phrase, Evelyn. All addictions are idols meant to glorify and please us. Now this next one you're not going to like, but it's true. Number 2, we are all addicted to ourself. Pick your poison. We're all addicted to ourself. Pick your poison. Or another way you could put this is we're all addicted to worshiping ourselves. Now, some of you, that looks radically different than it does people sitting at your table, or me. But tell me if I'm wrong, but I don't think I need to convince you probably that you love yourself a little too much. Even your self-hate oftentimes is self-love disguised. Even the whole, oh, I'm so terrible, woe is me, oh my gosh, I'm so awful, nobody loves me. That oftentimes, I'm not saying every time, but oftentimes is just you trying to get attention because your ego feels wounded and you're trying to get attention back on yourself through pity. Your greatest problem in your life is not someone else, it's you. Right? Look, Have you come to the point in your life where you realize that you're your own worst enemy? Well, many times. Have you come to that point where you go, or are you still blaming other people? Are you still at that stage where you're like, oh, it's my mom's fault, it's my friend's fault, it's my teacher's fault, it's my cheer sponsor's fault, it's my pastor's fault, it's Taylor's fault. It's always somebody else's fault. The truth is, you're your own worst enemy. The truth is, the person who makes you sin all the time is you, right? Is it someone else? Does someone else make you sin? Oh, sure, we blame the devil all the time. Oh, the devil made me do it. Man, I had a kid tell me that this year in the middle of class. Somebody threw a paper across the room in the middle of class, and I said, "What are you doing?" And they said, "The devil made me do it." And of course, my response was, "I need to send you to the office, but if you're demon possessed, we need to deal with that a different way. Because if the devil's making you throw paper, then maybe he has a little bit more control of it than you would like to admit. That's creepy." "No, I'm just kidding, I'm just kidding." Yeah, exactly. So shut up. Now, I say shut up all the time. Get over it. Get over it. I do. Now, not saying it's right. I'm my own worst enemy. So, number 3, we love ourselves and worship ourselves well. We love ourselves and we worship ourselves well. Number 4, and this one's important. All behavioral modification. Do we know what that means? Let me stop there. Behavioral modification. What does that mean? I need to define that term for you. Behavioral. Okay, what's behavioral? Let's take it one word at a time. What does behavioral mean? Behavior. Yeah, your behavior. Very good. Whoever said that. Behavior. It is your behavior. What does modification mean? Changing it, fixing it. I don't know who's over there shouting like you got Tourette's, but fixing it, changing it, right? So fixing, changing, altering. Very good, all you disembodied voices. So fixing, changing, altering. So you're modifying, you're changing or fixing your behavior. So write that down. Behavioral modification equals changing or modifying your behavior. Changing, you can just put that, changing your behavior. You'll be all right? All right, cool. Changing your behavior. So, what are the normal ways we go about trying to change our behavior? Let me ask you a different question. How do your parents try to change your behavior? Mine is like, don't start. How do your parents try to change your behavior? Come on now, don't act like you don't know the answer to this. Give an example. What? Somebody said they light me on fire. What did you say? Sorry, when you don't speak up, I just make up stuff. So, how do your parents change your behavior? And don't say they like take an ice skate and cut my forehead, but they're like, what do they do to change your behavior? I'm just going to keep saying crazy stuff. Okay, yell at you, ground you, hit you with a cat of nine tails on the back, whatever it may be. Okay? What else do they do to change your behavior? Throw burning coffee on you? Is that what you said? Oh, talk to you. Sorry. Okay. So they talk to you. Oh, y'all must have nice parents. So they talk to you. They talk to you. They talk to you. They what else? Take your phone away. Is that what you said? Sorry, I need subtitles. Take your phone away. Molly, what do they do at your house? Whoop you. Like. Okay, so, but yeah, okay, so let me ask that question. And don't start on stuff I need to report to the police. I'm asking you a simple question, okay? I'm asking you a simple question. You listen. Not trying to be funny. As a kid, how many of you guys got spankings when you did stuff bad? Right? When you got in trouble? Right? Me too. I'm not talking about beatings. I'm talking about spankings. Whoop me. Right? That type of stuff. Now, how many of you guys get grounded? I don't know if I've heard that, but maybe I have. Grounded. Like they take your phone, they take your Xbox, PlayStation, I don't know what. They take the chip that's implanted in your brain, whatever. I don't know what they take from you. Do they take your books? How many of you guys read so much they take your books? That's super creepy, but okay, how many of you guys do they My dad, he's going to watch this later. My dad, this is a lie, but I want to see if he'll say something later. So, my dad used to, when I would get in trouble, he would eat my food at dinner. And that was my punishment. I just want to see if he'll say something. That's a lie. So, what other ways do they change, do they modify your behavior? Again, things that we don't need to report. What are some things they do to you? Do they take a skateboard and hit you with it? Like, do they, go 15 miles per hour in the driveway and hit you with the car? Like, what do they do to change? What do they do to change your behavior? This is where Keith would go. Your psychopath stop. So, let's refocus. Anything else? Typically, what we do with behavioral modification is we do something on the outside to change what's on the inside. Okay? You follow me? With behavioral modification, we change something on the outside to change something on the inside. Right? What we're talking about now is something different. Now, I want you to listen to me carefully. Here's the problem with, listen to me, and I want you to write this. Ready? Without Christ, we do good without loving good. Without Christ, we do good without loving good. We do good for the wrong reasons. We do good for the wrong reasons. Here's an example. People who are oftentimes addicted to sex outside of marriage. They know it's wrong and sinful, but they still want to do it, so they stop doing it, but then they constantly think about doing it all the time. It didn't change what they loved. I hope you're paying attention. It's important. It didn't change what they loved. They just stopped doing what they loved. That's not the kind of love I'm talking about. It's not behavioral modification. My grandma has dementia. She has Alzheimer's. And for a while, she was getting up in the middle of the night. She wasn't actually awake. She'd open her eyes and she'd take the keys at like 2 in the morning, get in the car and drive all around town, and she was totally asleep. Now, her eyes were open, but she was like sleep driving. Like someone sleepwalks or sleep talks or sleep eats or whatever, right? Those are the more common versions. But she would drive around like 5 to 10 miles and she would stop at red lights and everything. Like, totally out of it. And then come home and like get back into bed like an hour later after driving around. God knows what she was doing, where she went, nobody was with her. Thank God she didn't die. So my grandfather had to start hiding the keys, but he hid the keys not because she went, oh my gosh, I've stopped, I've got to stop, I will stop. It was because she couldn't stop. So when we're talking about behavioral modification, it's one thing, like for example, like we talked about, we know plenty of people who are alcoholics. And you can hide all the alcohol, you can take their credit cards, you can take cash away from them, you can take their keys at night so they don't slip out and go buy alcohol, but they're still laying in their bed thinking and dreaming about alcohol. They still love alcohol, right? Are you following me? They still love what's killing them, even though they know it's killing them. By the way, relationships can be that way too. I just want to say that out loud, shot across the bow. People stay in relationships that they know are literally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, mentally killing them. And they stay there anyway because they're afraid to leave. Right? Or wrong? Am I right or wrong? Truth is, behavioral modification takes away what you don't need to do, but it never kills the love for that thing. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I use the example of sex, but we can use example of all kinds of other things, whether it be drugs. Like, you still love those drugs. Like we had a guy that was in our pharmacology class, which that's ironic, but he was in our pharmacology class in high school. Keith would know exactly what I'm talking about. And he would sit in class and he would do ecstasy in the back of the class. And he would offer pills to other people. And he'd be high. I mean, he'd be in another dimension, dude. Like, homie would be a space cadet, like out of his mind, tripping like nobody's business back then, right? And thing was, I saw him a few years ago, and I've been graduated for 13 years now. I saw him a few years ago, and he's still tripping. He's still doing those drugs all these years later. I don't know what he's doing, but I saw him like in Walmart. Like, dude, he's still high as a kite. It's killing him. It's always been killing him. But he starts to love what's destroying him. That's what addictions are. I'm saying to get rid of the addiction that you have to yourself, you're going to have to find an addiction that is stronger. You're going to have to find an addiction that's greater. You're going to have to find an addiction that's more powerful. Are you following me? The only one that's more powerful than you is Christ. The only thing that you can love more than you is Him. People obey the Ten Commandments, for example, all the time out of fear of God or hell, not love for Him. But let's pause there. How many people do this? You know exactly what I'm talking about. You probably met them. You might be one of those people. You come to church, you don't sin, you don't cuss, you don't drink, you don't smoke. What do you do? We do all kinds of things, not because we love God, but because we're afraid of going to hell. We've all met people like that, right? I could go around with a microphone. They'd never be honest, but I go around with a microphone Sunday morning, this coming Sunday. People in the pews before church started. Hey, are you a good person because you love God or because you're afraid of going to hell? What would most people say? They would say, oh, because I love the Lord. Oh, yes, I love the Lord. The truth is, they're just terrified of going to hell. They're terrified of getting punished. How oftentimes at your house do you want to do something that you know is bad, but if you do it, you know you're going to get punished, so you don't do it? Are you doing it because it's right, or are you doing it because you don't want to get punished? Those are two different things, are they not? Are they not? Do you follow my drift? It's one thing to obey the Lord because you love Him, and it's another thing to obey Him because you're scared He's going to send you to hell. Do you follow me? Yes or no? That's important. Do you follow what I'm saying? World apart. Love based on fear is not love. I'll say it again. Love based on fear is not love. Some of y'all need to know that, and some of y'all probably need to write that down. Love based on fear is not love. So if you obey God and you love other people, as Luke 6:31 commands us to, do unto others you'd have them do to you. If that's what you're doing simply because you're afraid of getting punished, you're not loving them and you're not loving God. You're just doing it out of fear. To properly love others, we must first stop obsessing over ourselves. I said it last week. If our heart is so full of self-love, what room do we have for loving other people? If our heart is so full of love for ourselves, what room do you truly have to love other people the way you've been called to love them? What's the answer? You don't. You don't have room, and you're not loving them the way that you ought to, right? Number 7. This cannot happen until we find ultimate satisfaction in Christ. Until we replace the clutching of our own selves with Christ, we will never be free to love others. In other words, until we love the Lord, and you might want to write this down, until we love the Lord with everything that we are, we have no chance of loving other people like we love ourselves. Well, I'll put it to you this way. I'll put it the same way Jesus did. Matthew 22, 37 and 39. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. And love your neighbor as yourself. Love Him, then love your neighbor. How many of you guys have been taught your whole life that loving God is just about trying harder? Like gritting your teeth and just white knuckling, making it happen. Anybody? I was taught that in youth group my whole life. That I just got to do better, be better, try harder, work harder. It's not the gospel, and that's not what the Bible teaches. Look, I wrote it down. How many of you guys have ever been How many of you guys have ever been set up by somebody to like with a romantic person, like whether it's a date or somebody like says, hey, I know somebody that you might like, why don't y'all like blah, blah, blah. Get together, get to know each other, go on a date, start talking, whatever. Anybody ever done that before? To you? Okay? You at least know what I'm talking about. Okay? You ever been on like farmersonly.com or Black People Meet or Plenty of Fish, or if you're into incest, 23andMe, whatever it may be, right? So however you find people you're romantically interested in, whatever that may be. Not judging. Now, with that being said, now here's the part, have you ever tried to love somebody and you just can't do it? Like, let me ask you a different question. Have you ever tried to like romantically be attracted to somebody and you just can't do it? Like, you're like, nah, they're not my type. She's not my type. He's not I'm sorry. I know they're handsome, they're pretty, whatever, but they just ain't for me. Ever had that before? Somebody sets you up and you try to love somebody, you try to force yourself to love. Doesn't work, does it? Doesn't work. But yet we try it all the time. Here's the thing. Chances are, I'm just being honest, chances are if you have trouble loving people in your life like your friends, you probably don't love them. And they're probably not your friends for very long. Right? The people that we spend our time with are the people that are easier to love, that we click with, right? Our friends. Yes? No? The people we choose, I'm not talking about family, because we don't choose family, but the people that we choose to be in our life, our friends, we connect with them and love them pretty easily, most of them, right? And if they're really difficult, you probably cut them out of your life. Because you're like, whoa, too much drama, they're too difficult, they cause me too much pain, it's too hard to like jive with them, so goodbye. Right? But why do we come to church all the time telling ourselves that if we just try harder, when we come in here, we'll love the Lord more? That's not how it works. That's not how it works with human relationships. That's not how it works with God. You don't try harder to love Him more. It's not how it works. Right? Are you woohoo? Are you out there? Are you alive? Am I not making sense? Let me all look like I don't know what's going on. Are you good? Okay. Okay, I'm going to ask you a question. It's going to be a weird question. So, how many of you guys have ever had a boyfriend or girlfriend that let's not say you love them, let's not say you like them. We don't have to make it that dramatic. Let's just say you really liked them. You had physical affection for them. You found them attractive. Raise your hand. Okay, so most of us. People who you're physically attracted to, you don't have to stare at for like 30 minutes and go, I mean, I don't know, I just don't see it. Nah, she ugly. Like, nah, he's ugly. Like, nobody has to tap you on the shoulder and go, hey, they're super attractive, believe it. Because no one's going to convince you of something that you don't believe, correct? Are you with me so far? I don't have to look at my wife for any length of time to go, man, I think she's hot. Like, I don't have to do that. I love my wife. I've loved her for 16 years. I don't have to. No one has to, like, convince me. I don't have to have my brother call me up every day and say, hey, do you think your wife's attractive yet today? And I'm like, nah, man, call back in a few hours. And he's like, fine. See, call back at 3 this afternoon. Like, that's not how it works. Right? Nobody has to convince me to love my wife. You might want to write this down. We love things that we find lovely. We love things that we find lovely. We love things that we find lovely. The real question is, do you find Christ lovely? Do you find Him beautiful? Do you find Him all glorious and worthy of all of your praise? When you look at Him, do you see something infinitely more valuable than anything you've ever found on this earth? Chances are, if you don't, here we go. Chances are, if you don't, it's probably because you're still addicted to yourself. Because you like what you see when you look in the mirror a little too much. And you like what you see when you look into your heart a little too much. Because you still drinking your own Kool-Aid, you're drinking your own bathwater. You think that you are the cat's meow and that you got it made, and that whatever term you'd like to use. People who are obsessed, you might want to write this down, people who are obsessed with themselves don't love Christ very much. People who are obsessed with themselves don't love Christ very much, if at all. Jesus said you can only serve one master, right? You can't serve two. The more, hey, have y'all heard the phrase, to know me is to love me? Have y'all ever heard that? People say that? Man, they say that all the time, right? To know me is to love me. That's not true, by the way. I'm just going to myth bust that right now. That's not true. The more you know people, the more you realize how they suck. Some of you are like, whoa, that was harsh. Yeah, but it's true. The more people know me, the more they realize how sinful I am. You too, by the way. The only person that's true of, and I hope you're listening, the only person that's true of is Christ. The more you know him, the more you love him. But that's not true about me. I put on my best face. I know y'all think I don't. I just let it all hang out. But I put on my best face, and I try to be what I'm supposed to be for my son, my wife, youth group, onlooking people for the Lord. But the truth is I'm a mess. And if you're honest, so are you. But to know him is to love him. The more you truly know him, the more you love him. He's the only person that you'll never go, wow, I can't believe Jesus did that. Oh my gosh, I can't believe he would say that. He's the only person. Y'all are old enough, right? Y'all are old enough to realize that almost everybody you've ever loved has let you down at some point in your life. Some of y'all are like, no, not my dog Cujo. I'm talking about people, okay? And Cujo killed people, if you've seen the movie. My point is this. I'm just saying that was a Stephen King movie. All I'm saying is this. If you are around people long enough, how many of y'all know this is true from personal experience? At some point, they will disappoint you. Give them long enough. At least once, they'll disappoint you. Sometimes it's minor, and sometimes it's really, really major. How many of y'all have had somebody that you truly love disappoint you in a way that you just can't move past? And you just, you're like, man, I mean, I can forgive you, I can love you, but we're not cool anymore. Probably all had moments like that. And if you haven't, they're coming. They are coming. So when the addiction you have is more of Christ and his love, only then will verse 31 make sense to you. So I wrote, treat people, this is the translation, treat people the same way you want to treat them to treat you. But I also wrote Matthew 22:39. Y'all might write that reference down. Matthew 22, verse 39. I already said it, but it's love your neighbor as yourself, because they're connected. Matthew 22:39. They're connected. Okay? Treat people the way you want them to treat you. Luke 6:31 is connected, definitely, with love your neighbor as yourself. Matthew 22:39. Love your neighbor as yourself. The golden rule. We say this all the time. Hey, we have it plastered on the walls at Redwater Junior High. I don't know if you ever noticed it before. We have it on the walls by the office. It's on a list of like school rules or some crap. But basically, it says, treat others the way you want to be treated. That's difficult, is it not? Hey, by the way, notice it doesn't say, y'all voted to go along, so pay attention. So, notice it says, treat others the way you want them to treat you. It does not say, do not treat others the way you do not want them to treat you. You notice that? And you go, well, what's the point? Well, the point is this. Every other religion tells you don't do to other people what you don't want done to you, because what goes around comes around, and we call that what? Karma. Yep. We all know it. Eastern religions, Hinduism, Buddhism, on and on. What?
Didn't you say in like the earlier lesson that karma isn't a thing? You definitely did.
I don't know what you just said, honestly.
That karma isn't a thing.
Isn't a thing? Oh, I thought you said is in the thing. Okay, yeah. So, I'm not defending karma. No, I'm not. In fact, I'm saying that karma is an Eastern religion like version, like Buddhism, Hinduism, Jainism, all that stuff. Like the idea that you reap bad things into the universe and bad things come to you, right? Or you reap good things, you sow good things and good things come. Like all of that, right? What Jesus is saying is not don't do things out of fear because bad things will happen back to you. He's saying do good things, love other people the way that you want to be loved. That's radically more transformative. Okay? It's radically more powerful. It's directly connected to that verse that I read to you, Matthew 22:39. Write this down, Leviticus 19:18. L-E-V. You can write L-E-V. I saw you looking at me like L-E-V. Leviticus 19:18. Okay. Lev 19:18. Yeah. All right. Love your neighbor as yourself. That's where that comes from. Okay. Jesus says that if you are to love people right, you must treat them right. I'm going to say that again because some of y'all need to hear that. If you're going to love people right, you have to treat them right. Don't walk around saying, oh, I love them. I just love them. God bless them. Bless their heart. I just love them. Unless you're willing to show it, don't say you love people. Because if you love people, you're going to treat them right. And if you treat them right, it's because you love them. No, don't start cutting your eyes at other people. Talk about you. Us, me, individually, everybody in here. We have a problem with this, don't we? Let's be honest. We have a problem with this. We say we love people. Hey. How many of you guys have the problem that I had when I was a teenager, which is I would tell anybody that I love my mama, but I would talk crazy to her. Okay? I would say crazy stuff to my mama. I would disrespect my mama. I would talk cross to her. I would get in trouble. I'd get grounded. I'd get hit with the rollerblades and the cat of nine tails and all the stuff we talk about, the vehicle, all that stuff. That would be done to me, and I deserved it because I got in trouble because I talked bad to my mom. How many of you, while you're judging me, how many of you have somebody that you claim you love and you talk to them like a dog? I bet you have one person. How many people right now, as you're thinking in your mind, how many of y'all have at least one person that you go, you know what? I owe them an apology when this lesson's over. I say I love somebody, but honestly, I talk to them bad. I treat them bad. Yes or no? Anybody in here have one person in your life that you say you love, but you treat bad? I'll let you here. Thank you for being honest, you few. And let me say this. It would be a great opportunity, and I don't know who that person is, whether you're close to them or not so close to them. It'd be a great opportunity to go and apologize to them and say, hey, the way I've treated you is not right. That's not been loving to you, and it's not honoring and exalting Christ, and I apologize about that. It may just totally change your relationship with that person for the better. Just saying. Because I've got people I need to. Man, if we're being, y'all probably think that well, I know y'all think a lot of things about me, but you probably think that I'm like the most terrible person ever. But the truth is we all have people that we love or we say we love, and we treat them bad. At least one person. So think hard about that. All right? If we love our neighbor as ourselves, we would treat our neighbors as ourselves. That's what this verse is saying. If we love our neighbors as ourselves. Now here's the thing. Did you know, some of y'all need to write this down, nowhere in the Bible does it command us to love ourselves. Nowhere in the Bible, I'll say that again for the people in the back, does it tell you to love yourself. It tells you over and over in both Old and New Testament to love your neighbor as yourself. And it tells you over and over in both the Old and New Testament to love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. But it doesn't tell you to love yourself. Why? Because people automatically love themselves. That's your whole problem. It's called sin. I'm sure you've heard of it. The Bible doesn't tell you to love yourself. The Bible tells you to love other people after you first love God with everything that you have. Right? So, it assumes that when we love our neighbors as ourselves, it's because we're loving ourselves. Right? Like, no, I'm going to say this weird. I know that. But like, did you feed anybody else today? Like, did you put food in someone else's mouth? Like, maybe it was a kid. Right. There's a few of us, right? Like, I did that with my son. Like, he can feed himself, but like a lot of times he's messy and he refuses to use forks and spoons and stuff. He's a little savage. So I like nasty stuff. I like that's messy. I put it right in his mouth, because if not, it's going to be all over the walls and the ceiling. So, but most of us didn't feed somebody today. Did you dress somebody today? Not you. Did you dress somebody else today? Okay? Me too. But most of us, no. Did you tell somebody else you love them today? Maybe some of you did. Good. Hope you meant it. Hope you showed it, more importantly. But chances are, did you brush someone else's teeth today?
No, my dogs.
Okay, so did you do something nice for someone else today? Did you show like an act of kindness to someone else that they didn't deserve or didn't ask for? Maybe some of us. I could keep going. My point is this: you do all of those things automatically for yourself, right? Because you know what you want. You get in your car and you go. For you guys who drive, you high school students, I know there's like very few of y'all in here tonight, but for you high school people who drive, you get in your car if you're able, and if you got money, like, you go do what you want. You have freedom. Celebrated that yesterday. We have freedom to do that. You want to go to Chick-fil-A? Go to Chick-fil-A. Whatever. I mean, we could give 1,000 examples. My point is this: Jesus is telling you that with the same care, listen to me, with the same care that you have inside of your soul, you need to treat other people with the same care that you have for you. You need to treat them with that same care. You understand what I'm saying? He's saying if you really, and you do love yourself. Again, that's our main problem. But he's saying if you love other people, you're going to need to treat them the same way you treat you. And everyone in here, for the most part, treats yourself very well. In fact, you get really offended when other people don't treat you well. You get offended. Oh, here's an example. I was going to pick up these nasty Domino's pizzas, brother. Okay? And I was at the four-way stop. You don't ever see me eat them, do you? I was at the four-way stop, right over on Robin Lane and like, I don't know, the Galleria maybe. So I'm at the four-way, I'm about to turn to go to Domino's on Robin. And a guy pulls up right about the time I do. He's turning left, so he's going the same way I'm going. And I motion him on, right? I'm trying to be polite. Come on, brother, you can go ahead. Homie, like, sits there and looks at me, and I'm like, hey man, come on, let's go, you're good. He starts to like, he takes forever, so I decide I'm just going to make the right turn. And he pulls out at that point, like guns it, like almost gets out in the middle of that like intersection. And then I stop again, and he's like he started like waving me on, like, you can tell he's like yelling, right? I'm like, remember our training, okay? I'm sitting there, and I don't like when people get angry for no reason. It makes me angry for no reason. I was calm, okay? But I felt something evil brew inside of me when that man did that, okay? And I'm not going to lie to you. I felt like angrily gesturing towards him as well. Okay? I felt that. I didn't do that. I resisted that. But for about halfway down Robin, he's behind me, about halfway down Robin, I'm going, son of a gun, so help me. You know, like, I'm fuming, right? I'm listening to like Christian music and stuff. I'm actually listening to Christian rap when I was. But I'm driving, right? And I'm good until that moment. And then I let that dude like get under my skin because he did this. Like, literally, like, that's all it took to like get me hot under the collar. Is like, because he did like this, like he's mad at me because he's stupid. right? Because he's stupid and can't follow directions, I got mad. Okay? And that's ridiculous. And honestly, by the time I pull into Domino's, I'm good. And I'm like, this is an illustration for tonight's lesson. If I wouldn't want him to treat me that way, which he did, and I wished harm upon him for a few seconds. But then after that, when he didn't, when he turned down to go to his house, and I almost looped back around and fought. But my point is, that was a perfect opportunity, and I'm not saying I exactly passed the test, but that was a perfect opportunity for me to love somebody the way that I want to be treated. To love somebody the way that I want to be loved. I didn't want him to treat me like that, so I didn't do it back to him. I was going to give him a different little, thing. But my point is, did he deserve that? Yeah, probably. But that's not what we're called to do. We're not called to give people in return what they give to us. I could have made that a whole lot worse, and we could have been fighting out in the Domino's parking lot because I said a couple of things, through the glass that I should have said, and he followed me there, and we started beating each other with those pizzas. And I was in jail instead of coming to teach this lesson tonight. Like, it could have got ugly over because he did like this a few times, and now all of a sudden I'm catching a case. Like, that's not Christ-like, and it's not loving to him. But we all go through that all the time, do we not? I mean, we have moments like that all the time. If you were being honest, I could go around one by one in here, and you could tell me at least probably just today, maybe today and tomorrow, one moment just like that where somebody made you mad and you wanted to twist their head off their shoulders. Right? And some of y'all are like, no. You have anger problems. Okay, fine. I'm bald and fat and I'm hot and all that. So my point is, some of us don't have those anger problems. Great, good for you. Now, here's another example. A drive-through at Wendy's this morning. Yeah, this morning we got breakfast at Wendy's. So, don't judge. Keaton and Hannah love it. So, I'm at the drive-through. Actually, this wasn't today. This was like a week ago. They're blowing the grass off while I'm trying to order, and it's loud. Like really, really loud. And the more irritated I got, the louder it seemed, right? And I'm sitting there, and I have to like tell her my order like 3 times because she kept going, I'm sorry, I can't hear you. And I said, I'm so sorry. It's not your fault. Let me collect myself. So, I have to calm down and not retaliate or not act in a way accordance that's not appropriate, right? And it's because I need to show her compassion. She doesn't deserve my wrath. I need to show her love. She doesn't deserve my wrath. Now the guy with the blower, different story. But my point is, we're lying to ourselves if we think that it's not a challenge to love people in this way. So, I know they're coming out. We will, since we're not in the small room, we'll go ahead and wrap up. I know what time it is. And we'll have to finish this next week again. So, let's pray. Father, thank you for this opportunity to be honest and rally around your word and love your word and love your fellow believers, Lord. That's what we are. We're part of your body. And Father, I ask that you would bind these truths to our heart, that we would be less addicted tonight to ourselves and our love for ourselves and our own glorification and our sin, and that we would be repenting of what we believe about ourselves, and we would turn to Christ, and that you would give us a hunger, an addiction for him, and that only in that we would truly remember that we can begin to love other people because we know we're totally loved by you, Lord. That would be true of every person in this room in a real way that makes a difference in their life, in a transformative way that's not passing, but truly that sticks, Lord. Thank you for these students. I ask that you give them opportunities. And I know that may be stressful. I know it may be fear-inducing, but Lord, I pray for opportunities in this coming week for every student in this room to love somebody who's hard to love. I pray for opportunities that they will pass the test and that they will glorify you in the process, that even though they wanted to retaliate in a certain way, to praise and glorify themselves. Instead, they honored you, and in the process, they demonstrated you to a lost and dying world. Thank you for your Son. Thank you for your word. And thank you that you've not left us alone, Father, but that you've given us the Spirit. Thank you for these students. Lord, bind these truths to our minds and our hearts. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.